Inventory is up. Pending sales down. What does that mean for pricing trends, days on market, and the overall housing market here on the Central Coast? Well, we'll be getting into that now that it's September. We'll be breaking it down. We've got the trends, we've got what's happened, what's happening now, and what might be happening in the future. And of course, I'll give you my perspective as an active real estate broker here on the Central Coast on what we're doing to set ourselves up for success and our clients up for success when they're either entering the market as a buyer or entering the market as a seller. So stay tuned. Make sure to like and subscribe. This is your September 2025 Housing Market Report here for the Central Coast. Let's get started. In August, we had 242 closed sales, which is up 1.3% versus last year. Last year, we were at 239, which is up 4% versus 2023 at 229. So we're on par with what we saw in the last few years. Nothing really too much to report. Buyers are buying, sellers are selling, but there are some things happening in the market that I think are important to be aware of. But overall, as far as that closed transaction count, we're right in alignment with historical numbers. Now, with 242 sales at a median sales price of 910, we saw $520 million sell. That's up 3% versus last year, where we had $502 million in August, which is up 15%. In 2023, 438. Like I said, the median sales price $910,000, which is about where we started earlier this year. We did see a pullback early this year, and we got all the way down to $820,000 for a median sales price, but we've ticked up in the last couple months to $910,000. Where are we at historically? Well, last year we were at $875,000 in August. In 2023, we were at $810,000. So we continue to see that demand driving up those prices, and that reduction of inventory that we've had over the last few years continue to build up that demand. So we see those prices continuing, but like I mentioned, those last few months in March, where we saw 820, we saw that dip back for 4 consecutive months. We were starting to wonder, are we going to see major price reductions? We didn't see that. There's some pricing fluctuations that happen in any market, and we've seen that the uptick again in that median sales price to the historic trend line. So if you are a seller and you know that inventory has been increasing, pending sales have pulled back a little bit, and we'll get into that in just a moment, you might be wondering, what's the median list to sales price in the county? Now, every neighborhood, every house, every city, it depends on factors that are very close, very local. But broad strokes for the county, right now, listing to sales price is 97.3%. That's down 1.5% versus 2024, where we saw 98.8%. And in 2023, 100%. What does this tell us? It tells us that there's a little bit of a pullback with buyers that are not willing to pay as much as they were willing to pay 2-3 years ago. And that's because that median sales price has increased. So we're seeing that tug of war between buyers and between sellers wanting a certain ask price and buyers negotiating down. Now, this is just all part of a natural and healthy market for the housing market here on the Central Coast. So really nothing that is out of the ordinary here. And we expect between that 97 to 98% list to sales price to continue for the upcoming months. Normal percentages, what we'd see in a normal healthy market, and every market has a little bit of pull and push. When we were in such a low inventory market a few years ago, of course, it makes sense that homes were selling at list or above because there was such low inventory and high demand, right? Now, as the inventory is increasing, Demand is staying relatively the same, and we'll talk about that in a minute here with interest rates. Then we're going to see that push and pull. So we expect between that 97 to 98% list to sales price to be pretty accurate. So what does this mean? It means that if you're a seller, you're pricing correctly, just take that into account that you're going to get pretty close to your asking price. And if you're a buyer and there's a home that just recently came on the market within a week or two, expect to pay for the most part between 97 98% of asking price. Now, of course, there can be negotiations in every transaction, but it gives us a good barometer to see what's going on in the overall market between buyers and between sellers. Let's switch gears here and talk about that inventory, right? It's an inventory, it's a supply demand kind of market. And historically, here on the Central Coast, we are a low inventory type of market. A lot of that just has to do with the number of houses that we have. We don't have that many. We don't have that many houses here in the county. We've got a lot of demand coming from out of the area, larger metro areas like Bakersfield, Fresno, the Bay Area, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and out of the state as well. So those new listings that came on the market, 250. 26% pullback versus last year, where we were at 338. And in 2023, we are at 318. So fewer sellers decided to bring their house to the market in August versus last year, quite considerably. You'd expect that that is going to draw back on inventory, but it really hasn't because we've seen such a low pending sales amount. So for new listings, 250 active listings. We're up 14% year over year, 868. That was, like I said, up 14% versus 2024, where we saw 761, and that was up 28% versus 2023. What does this mean? So as a buyer, you've got a lot more options to choose from in pretty much every city. If you're looking here in the Central Coast, you're going to have a lot more options than you would have had a few years ago. So if you've thought about either relocating here to the area or buying your first home or selling your first home, buying a step-up home, you're going to have a lot more options. You're going to have more negotiation opportunity. It's going to be a better situation for you. For sellers out there, we're still actually in a lower inventory market. Traditionally, like I've said in all my videos, during the, let's say, July, August, September, you'd have between 1,000 to 1,200 homes active on the market. So we're still under historic numbers. And so that's just saying that there's going to be more competition versus last year. That means you have to price correctly. You got to present your property properly to the market. And you want to make sure that you are pivoting if the market is not responding favorably to the price or to the presentation, whatever it is. So just something to keep in mind, that increase of inventory does mean more options for buyers, more competition for sellers. And again, each city is a little bit different here on the Central Coast, but a great time to be looking for a home if you want some more options and you want some more negotiation opportunity. Let's take a quick switch to demand. We're at 150 pending sales. Now that is down 38% versus last year. So we've really taken a hit as far as pending sales. In 2024, we're at 244 August pending sales, and in 2023, 221. Why is that? Why have we seen a pullback in pending sales? Well, it could be that buyers are waiting for interest rates to decline. They're maybe out on vacation, whatever. There's a lot of different factors, but it's something to be really quite aware of, right? Because if that pending sale volume is really low, like it was here last month, then that means we're going to have that inventory increase. So that demand is just not keeping up with the supply. And so more active homes on the market, that means more price reductions for sellers who are motivated to get their homes sold. So just something to be considering, and something to keep an eye on. Really low pending sales historically for August. So what is this all doing for days on market? That's an important number to be looking at if you're a buyer, if you're a seller, what's going on. So median days on market, we had 22. Now that's up 46% versus 2024, which was 15, and that was up 25% versus 2023, which was 12. So the days on market is one of the best indicators that are giving us an idea of what kind of market we're headed into. So with that increase of days on market, which is starting to get back to the historical numbers between 20 to 25 days on market, that means that you as a seller really need to be mindful about those timelines. So launching the property properly, getting those open houses done, making sure you're prepped up for it, making sure you're staged, making sure that you are more attractive than the other sellers in your area that are similar, comparables to you, is really, really important. And if you're increasing past that median days on market, that's something to be mindful of. And if you're a buyer and you're wanting to get a good deal, maybe looking at those properties that have that accumulation of days on market, sometimes that can be the best time to find a good deal. And I'll give you a personal example right now. So this week, we're closing up on a house for a buyer in Grover Beach. Original list price, $915,000, and it had a price reduction down to $899,000. My buyer negotiated, well, we negotiated for him, and we got the price all the way down, all said and done, to $865,000. So big difference from $865,000 to $910,000, $915,000 of the original list price. And there was a comparable that sold in the area for over $920,000. So there are opportunities out there. And the reason I think that we got that good deal is because it had started to accumulate those days on market. So it was only us and the seller. We weren't competing against any other buyers. So if you're a buyer out there and you've got a budget, maybe having that budget range a little bit higher than what you can afford, negotiate down, might be some opportunities for that, especially for those houses, like I said, that have gone on the market a little bit longer. So what am I seeing out there as a buyer's agent, as a seller's agent, and what's my advice? Okay, well, I think that a lot of it will determine on the interest rates and what's going to be happening now. And we already see a pullback below 6.5%, right? So that's good news. But what does that mean for you as a buyer? So if you're a buyer and you want those interest rates to fall below 6% before you start looking for a home, you're going to have a lot more competition. There's a lot of other buyers who are thinking the same thing. We have that decrease in interest rates. There's going to be more home shoppers. There's going to be more competition. There's going to be more offers to compete against. And instead of paying a price that's, let's say, fair for what you're looking for, you're going to be paying higher because you're competing against 2 or 3 other bidders. So you don't want to be doing that. What you want to do is you want to refinance down the road when interest rates reduce, because that's going to boost up your equity. So just something to keep in mind. You don't want to just start shopping for a home because those interest rates have dropped. Again, other people are going to be doing the same thing. You're going to have more competition, more bidders, and pay a higher price for the most part. Okay. Also, for buyers out there, know that sellers understand there's more inventory out there, more competition. So they're aware of that. And if they're motivated, they're willing to negotiate with you. So you want to make sure you're putting in strong offers, good terms, pricing that makes sense, but there's opportunities out there like that example that I use. So good thing for buyers. And if you want to talk about your perfect home and how to get that perfect home, feel free to reach out. We work with a lot of buyers and we love doing it, helping people get into the homes that best fit their lifestyle and saving them money. We love saving money for our clients and getting great terms for them. Switching gears for sellers. Depending on if you're in North County, if you're in South County, or you're on the coast, every market's a little bit different here. Luxury high-end markets versus starter homes. It's going to depend a lot on that and your comparables, okay? But just know inventory's increased, pending sales have decreased, so that means you need to be competitive with your pricing and don't look to what your neighbor sold their home 2 years ago as a comparable, or even 6 months ago, because the market has changed. So you really need to pivot, be aware of what's going on right now, and understand that buyers are a little bit more choosy because they have more options to choose from. And if you'd like to sit down with my team, again, we'll walk you through our process, get you prepared so that you can sell your property seamlessly without stress and get the best price possible, regardless If you're selling a luxury high-end home and you need to target particular out-of-town buyers or luxury high-end buyers, or if you're selling your first house, a condo, and you need to target first-time home buyers, whatever it is, we'll set you up for success in the marketplace so you get the right buyers coming into the open houses, placing offers, and getting that property sold. So there you have it. That is the Central Coast housing market update for September. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. We are here to help you, whether you're buying, selling, or investing. So if you're moving to the area, buying your first home, selling your first home, selling your last home, making an investment, we are here for you. We've got the information down below. Reach out and share this video with somebody you think might find it valuable. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you on the next video.